Okay, I hope this video finds you all well. And today I'm going to talk about technical translation for our class of English for Natural Science. This part that I present comes from the module that I also have shared. So if you find that some of the information that I'm going to present is repetitive of what you have read there, it's okay. I believe that will make you better understand the points. Yeah? So without further ado, I would like to share my screen with you so that you can see what things that you need to see here. Yeah. Okay. We start from the beginning, of course, as usual. Yeah. Okay. Technical translation for today, Monday, March the 1st of 2021. First of all, of course, we need to know what is called as technical translation. If you still remember our discussion in the translation and interpretation class last semester, um, one thing that probably you still remember from the class is that technical translation is different from literary translation in terms that technical translation deals with texts that are not literary. Well, that's fine. I mean, like, um, it can be done. It's like I ask you, like, what is a duck? And you said a duck is not a chicken, which is technically correct. But then we want to know, be more precise, like what is actually, or what is the definition of technical translation? What is the goal of the technical translation? And also other points that are related to technical translation. So technical translation is a type of specialized translation that involves the translation of documents produced by technical writers. So the technical translation is the translation of texts that are written by technical writers. I hope it is not a kind of what is it, kind of circular argument that you will find confusing. Um, but the examples of technical writings are manuals, user guides, and others. Or to be more to be more specialized, texts which relate to technological subject areas or texts which deal with the practical application of scientific and technological information. So that's basically the definition of technical translation. Yeah, it still deals with terms like what you have learned in the class of translation and interpretation, uh, source text and target text, uh, source language and target language, and the translation is like a, what is it, like in the what is it, like in the middle of this. It is a kind of a bridge. Yeah? And then what is the goal of the technical translation then? As such, the goal of translation is to make the source text perfectly clear and easy to understand by target language audience. So of course, I think this is common, not only in technical translation, but also in other kind of translation. We want our readers to understand uh, what is being conveyed in the source text or original text. Yeah. But I think in technical translation, the challenges are to some point bigger. Maybe some people will say that because then it is quite specialized and needs sometimes what is it like they have their own ways of or expression. They have their own jargons. They have their own terminologies that need to be conveyed, need to be translated from the source text to target text, and that is not easy. Yeah? I think so. It is quite a general. Yeah, I think. goal of translation is to make the source text perfectly clear and easy to understand by target language audience. To me, it is not that clear. Yeah, I think um, probably the better one maybe is to make the what is it like the message or the meaning of the source text come in a close equivalent to the target text. Yeah, and what are needed, especially when you are going to do the technical translation, is this genuine knowledge of the subject matter and high linguistic skills. So both of the two are required when you are about to become a technical translation. You need to have a knowledge, a good knowledge, not become like an expert in that area, yeah, to some point, but you need to have a sufficient knowledge, you can like that, of the subject matter. So if you translate what is it like manuals in the field of machinery, then you need to immerse yourself. Maybe you have to learn a lot about that subject matter so that you have enough or sufficient knowledge to start with. When it is easy actually to test whether you have a good knowledge or not in the subject matter. Um, Maybe you just need to read an article about that subject, about that industry, or about that subject, or maybe you need to involve yourself in a conversation with people who are running in that area, and then if you can what is it like follow them up, and if you can actually understand what they talk about, you can reply in a relevant and um, meaningful way, then that makes you what is it eligible in that field. Yeah. So if you haven't into that in that what is it in that level, maybe it is time for you to learn to read a lot about that field or subject matter. And of course, as a translator, what is also required is high linguistic level. You need to be able to what is it like? Yeah, you need to have a good mastery or command in both the source language and target language. After we know the definition, the goal, and the requirement of technical translation, now what are strong features that you can find in a technical translation? Here are some of them, yeah, three of them actually. I think there should be more, but these three are, I think, the most important. The first is you need to pay attention to the consistency in terminology. Um, so technical texts usually have, I already mentioned, jargon or terminology that are special to the field. So even what is it like the word or the phrase are the same or if or similar at least, probably those become a jargon in a field, and you need to what is it to pay attention to that, and later on you need to be consistent when you translate a terminology. Yeah. And it is here what is like the the importance of having or developing a terminology management or something like that. So you need as a translator develop your own terminology management or terminology kind of dictionary for you to consult every time you need to do that, yeah, or you need to look up a certain term. And then in technical translation, another feature which is strong is that many of them are formulaic and repetitive. Formulaic means like yeah, it is like that. I mean, like you cannot make a what is it like a new term or something like that. You need to stick with with the term that is accepted, widely accepted in the field. This kind of formulaic expression are, I believe, there are many that you cannot just introduce a new term, a new translation there, because when the reader read that new term, then they probably will frown and don't understand, because you actually what is it like? Yeah, you just don't use the common or accepted formula, and yeah, it is also repetitive, meaning that this formula, this pattern, this jargon are used repetitively, and that's why it is always good for us as the translator, um, yeah, to develop the terminology, and also to use the help of computer assisted translation. Yeah, I think there are quite many outside there. What is it like a computer assisted translation that are offered. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So it's up to you which one that you are going to use. Those are the strong features according to me. And then in what is it in technical translation, uh, there is also this classification, yeah, text classification. I think this is quite theoretical. So it is based whether on the function, on the participant, and degree of technicality. When it comes to function, we need to ask ourselves before we start translating whether the text that we translate are meant to be a compilation, meaning that it is more just kind of what is it like a yeah, compilation of knowledge or information, or is it deductive or instructive? When you translate a manual, for example, you actually work here in this level, yeah, deductive or instructive, or progress-oriented actual. Uh, so there are some kind of stages that you need to pay attention there, and then also the most probably complex text or function is the juridical normative. That means like the text that you translated, the technical text that you translate, are what is it like going to be used in maybe court or in legal setting. Yeah, that means that it is very sensitive. I mean, like a small mistake in the translation can have a very grave consequences. So those are based on the level of complexity of the function of the text. Yeah, and then with when it comes to the participants, um, this is actually what is it like include or involve the writer and also the reader. So whether the text that you translate are coming from an expert, and then the readers are lay person or like a common people or common readers, or it is from expert, what is it, who would like to say something to the semi-expert, or from expert to expert. You need to pay attention to that, because that will define later your style of translation, and also maybe what is it like yeah, the degree of complexity of your terms that you use. So you need to know that whether you want to translate uh, uh, to layperson, to like common people, means that you don't need to probably pay very close attention to the details, maybe as long as the message is true, or when it is coming to semi-expert, maybe yeah, you need to maintain some degree of technicality, but um, also try to make it clear and maybe simpler than when it comes to expert to expert. When you translate, for example, a legal document, or when you translate a journal article, I think to some point you are practicing translating for expert to expert, yeah, because um, those texts are actually written by an expert in that field, in a particular field, and then the readers are very limited, and they are like the expert in that field. Okay, so it's also what is it like staged in the in this level of complexity, yeah. And then the degree of technicality, it's related to the vocabulary to some point, or to the terminology. So when it is low, there is a little or no specialized knowledge required. Yeah, popular article, and the one that we are going to start, or that we are going to start with in the practice of translation next week. Maybe was that sit here, yeah, in a low technicality. The degree of technicality is low, um, and it is usually read by lay person, by common people, common readers. And then there is this medium level of technicality when practical knowledge in a scientific technical subfield required. That means like there are some kind of already special terms, terminology, formula that need to be paid attention to, but somehow they are not that complicated. Yeah. And then the next is the text that has a high degree of technicality. It means like it's very detailed, theoretical, and applied scientific and technical knowledge required there. Of course, those are like the what do you say, like the text that um, comes from written by expert, and then um, targeted at an expert as well. Okay, that is the text classification. Before we start doing what is it like kind of translation, we need to probably need to diagnose, because I like that, maybe to diagnose in which level of this classification and the text that we are going to translate sit. Say for example, okay, I give you a text A, for example. Oh, in terms of function, it is actually detective. And then it is written by an expert, of course, and supposed to be read by semi-expert, maybe by technician, by people who run the machine, but not by people who probably knows about the machine and can create the machine or something like that, or the technician that has a high degree of expertise in that field. And then maybe it is medium, so it is possibility like that. You need to diagnose, we call it like that, your text that you are going to translate. Okay, and the next last slide that I'm going to present are the techniques. I think this is something that quite clear. I will not spend a long time here. When you translate technical text, here are the techniques. You need to be concise and clear. You do not try to put what is it like your own words, or you cannot just prolong the sentences and so on and so forth. So you just need to be concise and clear. It is actually quite easy when you test whether your translation is concise and clear. Ask a reader to read your text and see whether they actually understand your translation or not. And yeah, of course, if they understand it, then yeah, you are clear enough in your translation. And then pay close attention to the original text, meaning that if the text have mistakes, then you need to what is it like give some kind of a suggestion or correction, but correction is not inside of the text, not in the text, but maybe as a footnote or something like that. It is possible to do that, especially when it is still in the maybe early stage of a publication, maybe. Yeah. But when it comes to like already been published text, then usually it has already undergone the editing process. So no big deal with that. And then you need to be able to play with structure and meaning, suggesting that it is possible for you when you translate technical text to make a little, what is it, like twist, a little change in terms of structure, especially when the sentences are long and maybe dwindling and confusing when it is translated into the target language. You can make it into shorter sentences, or maybe make inflection, or make some kind of what is it, like say for example the original text is in a passive voice and you can make it into active voice without changing the meaning. Yeah. And then of course the next technique is something that only expected can be expected. Yeah. As a reader, sorry, as a translator who translates in a special field, you need to become an avid reader in this field. Yeah. Earlier I mentioned about the requirement to become a technical translation is that you need to be knowledgeable in the field. And how to become knowledgeable in the field, a particular field? Um, One of them is by becoming an avid reader in that field, meaning that you actually read a lot and then you update yourself, update your knowledge in that field. Yeah. And then pay attention to symbols and numbers. I think this is something that clear enough. I don't need to discuss this quite what is it, like yeah, in a lengthy way. So of course when it comes to technical translation, um, big chances is that you will meet symbols and numbers, and pay attention to that, because mistranslation maybe only one number or one symbol, and it will have a what is it, like maybe dire consequence to the reader. And then always proofread your translation, meaning that after you finish translating, um, don't just leave it as it is and then you give it to your client or the one who ordered your translation, but try to always proofread your translation before you go there. Sometimes it is good if you work in team, then you can ask your partner maybe, or anyone who can help you, linguist, usually linguist expert, to read and read your or proofread your translation, and they can provide you with valuable suggestion. And the last one is, of course, you need to adapt your style. Um, if you are into more, what is it, like literary translation, it is time for you to, well, you have to adapt that. Maybe it is very different when you translate a technical text, because what is expected from you is you need to be concise and clear, and not like what is it, like um, a stylist maybe number seven in the list when you translate technical text. Okay, I think that's all from me in this field. Sorry, in this what is this, in this topic. Um, I will what is it? Expect that you have some good understanding from this. Thank you.